Happy Tuesday to everybody. This is Jason Rockhold, PGA Master Professional, and we're going to talk today about the importance of putting together a social media calendar and getting yourself on a set schedule to do blogs and podcasts and maybe even a little bit of vlogging. But before we get started, here's the intro. All right, so let's start with a social media calendar. The main reason for doing any sort of calendar and scheduling is to make sure that you do it. One of the biggest problems that we have is that we have so many things that could potentially take over our time, either be distraction or other important parts of our life that can definitely get in front of doing any sort of social media posting. For example, today, Tuesday, my day that I do podcasts, I had about 20 different things that came up that wanted to jump in front of the importance of the podcast. And the important part of doing any sort of scheduling is so that you can start to become consistent. If there are people that are listening to you or have interest in what you're talking about, and you say that you're going to do it on Tuesday and you're not there on Tuesday, then they won't come back on Tuesday. So it's really important that when you pick a schedule and you announce a schedule, that you are there on that day, because there are a million options out there for people to utilize their listening time, their time riding in a car, or their time, doing anything where audio is their potential way to connect or learn or anything like that. And if you just kind of bail on them and flake out, then guess what? They're never going to come back. So really important to stick to your schedule and be able to be there for the people that are interested in listening to what you have to say. So we've just kind of pointed out vlogging and blogging and doing a podcast. These are just three of the different areas that you can do on a weekly basis. But I mean, it's just kind of touching the iceberg, the top of the iceberg. We have the whole area of social media when we start to talk about Twitter, and we talk about Instagram and Facebook, one of the biggest areas that's out there. But I know you're saying, oh my goodness, there's so much stuff that I have to do in addition to my normal business that I have to pay attention to. Well, that's where Rockhold and Associates can help. We can come in, sit down with you, and give you a guide on how you can better maintain your online footprint through social media, websites, articles, you name it. We will help you find a better path, and we can even do it for you. We have different levels of service that we offer, all the way to basically being your marketing department that's outsourced to make sure that everything that we can do for your business is getting customers into the door and making sure that they have an amazing experience at your facility. But even beyond what we do, there's some things that you should definitely try to do. And I would recommend either pulling out a calendar or a physical calendar that you would write on, or even making something in Outlook or potentially in Excel that kind of gives you a structure of a calendar month. And then what I highly recommend is just writing down in each of the different days something or multiple things that you plan to do during that day. So, for example, for me, Tuesdays, podcast, talking to you guys, making sure that I am providing some sort of content, some sort of valuable content, hopefully, for everybody that's out there, and giving you an avenue to ask me questions so that I can then in turn tell you either through a podcast or through a direct message back how to do what you need to do in order to better your marketing for your business or your branding for your business. And it's very important that when I go through this and I set it up, you want to make sure that every single week you do the same thing. So if you're going to do a Facebook post on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, it's very important that you get consistent in doing that, because those habits that you build will start to ingrain in your work week and start to get to the point where it's just a normal thing. You just absolutely know you're going to do it, and then it will continue to grow and build your business. It'll be amazing how much these small little changes that can start to grow into your routine will start to really amplify the effect that you have on your business. And I get it. I understand things get in the way. Things can potentially, start to interrupt that schedule. But that's the greatest thing about these online platforms now is we have the ability to pre-record something and post it up for it to go out on a specific day. It doesn't have to go out the minute that we record it. And trust me, if you have, and I see this all the time, and this is something that really bothers me when it comes to content being dished out on the internet, is you'll see somebody that's creating content, and that's phenomenal. Anybody that is actually sitting down and creating content to put out there, I absolutely admire what you're doing. I'm excited that you're doing it. And I think that it's only going to do great things for you, because putting content, quality content out there is going to have longevity. And that's one of the biggest things that I struggled with when I first started doing this, is I've had so many different areas to offer. And I was really only offering that information or that knowledge to a certain amount of people, my employer at the time, and my near and close friends or other people at golf courses that were right near me and around me. I offered my information and my expertise to them just because they were inside of my social circle or they were inside of my work circle. And so all I had to do was talk to them and get it out there. But the thing that I was missing was there's over 20,000 different golf courses and over 28,000 golf professionals out there that could definitely utilize some of this information that goes out. Now, I'm not saying everything that comes out of my mouth is going to be gold, because trust me, just like my jokes, they are not all gold. So, but there are some things that if you go through and you listen to multiple podcasts that I put out there, there might be something that hits where your business is failing right now. And if you can go through and you can actually catch something that goes, oh yeah, maybe we should try that. This whole calendar thing that you're talking about makes a lot of sense, because if I sit down and I go down and I post 6 different things on Facebook for a single day and then don't post for a month, it looks as though, we had one day when it rained and we didn't have the ability to do any sort of marketing for the rest of the month. Well, as I was saying just a little bit before, is we have the ability to schedule this out throughout the entire month. You could have one rain day where it's absolutely disgusting outside. You have nobody coming into the golf shop. You have, basically you shut the doors at the golf course And you can go in there on Facebook and type in, we really love golf and we want you to come out and do this. And then hit post and it'll say post today, or would you like to send it out later? And you know what? If you can post 10 different things and spread it out over the month, it'll save you so much time, because you're all set for the month. And as long as you have something that's relevant to the month, it doesn't have to be relevant to the day, but you don't want to be talking about how great Halloween is going to be in February. You want to make sure that whatever you're talking about is relevant for the date that you're going to have it post. So if you can look ahead at your schedule of events and start to post some things or schedules things to be posted, it will definitely get you so much further ahead of the game from anybody that I've seen that posts 6 things on a single day and then just dumps it the rest of the month. Now, the last thing that I'm going to talk about this, and this is going to be something that will allow you to really start to jump on board with the idea. And that's when you start to do these posts and you start to do your podcast or your vlog, or you start to post 3 times a week on Facebook, or you start to, post pictures on Instagram, and you start to do that on a consistent basis. What I want you to do is I want you to write down on that day, 1 week from whenever you posted it, write down how many people looked or saw or shared that post. Okay. And I want you to do it for the first one and then just keep going 1 week afterwards. Give it a week to kind of filter through, but do 1 week and then see what happened, because you're going to be amazed at the growth that you will have if you do something consistently. And it's just and the thing is, it's going to come incrementally, and it'll be kind of frustrating that you'll spend 2 and 3 hours trying to record something or write something or make a really funny post for Instagram or do something on Facebook, and your first few ones, they get, three people that viewed it, or, you had one person that listened to it, or maybe 6 or 7 people listened to it, and 3/4 of those people were your family. That's how it all starts. It's a matter of going from, and I know there's other gurus out there like Gary Vaynerchuk that really implement the fact that you have to go from 0 to 1. And there are books out there that are titled that, but it's all a matter of going from starting, just getting going, getting that momentum started and rolling. And if you can get that momentum moving, in a year's time, it could be 100,000 people that are listening to what you're saying, or 200,000 people. I've seen some people on YouTube that are producing content that started a year ago that have over 2 million subscribers to their channel, just because they have a Tuesday thing and they post a couple more times a week. So they post 3 times a week. There's one guy on there that posted every day for a year and a half, and he has almost 10 million subscribers. And it's all because of the consistency and obviously the quality of the information that you're putting out. And that quality could be the actual information that you're putting out, and I say both of them, because you also have to be entertaining as well. If you're not putting out quality content, then it better be entertaining, or you're wasting somebody's time. And the next thing they're going to do is they're going to click off and find the next podcast or video or whatever that is going to be more entertaining, or actually get them to be excited about the time that they're using to listen to, watch, read, or even look at any of the social media that you do. So it's very important that the consistency happens. Get that calendar out, write it all down, and be diligent about staying consistent with it. So if you can really get after it and stick to the guns the whole way, it's going to be really, really great. It's going to work for you all the way through. So don't be frustrated at the beginning. It's going to be a process just starting to build, but just make sure that in the back of your mind, you realize that you're a snowball at the top of the mountain and it's just starting to roll down. So stay positive, stay focused, and great things are going to happen. So that's it for today. Have a great rest of the week. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. And we will be back here next Tuesday. See what I'm doing? Setting up the schedule right there. See you next Tuesday right here. And if you have any questions, feel free to instant message us on Instagram at Rockhold Golf or on Twitter at JRockGolf. Either one of them will either get back to you directly if it's a personal question about your personal business, or if it's a general question, it may be the subject to one of our next podcasts. So thank you for listening. Have a great week. See ya.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.